The Miz has arrived.
I have. How's it going?
Good, Miz. How are you?
I am awesome.
I knew you were here. You know how?
How?
Our intern. See that female intern right there?
Yes,
Curly
I do.
hair?
Yo, what's up?
She just said, I don't know who you have coming in here, but he is really good looking.
Well,
I said that must be the Miz.
That must be me.
That's got
to be. But then she meets me and she's like, "Well, all right, never mind."
Maybe far away was a little better.
Nah, I feel like up close I'm good, but when you start talking to me, sometimes I.
Oh, you think it's
too much for people? I think it's a little too arrogant.
Egotistical, like it sends a wrong message.
But it seems like you know yourself well enough. Why you're not coming off as egotistical to me right now? You're saying I'm
like
handsome.
you know me.
But yeah.
Like I feel like when people first meet me, I'm sometimes too much. I'm too in your face. But once you get to know me, people end up liking me.
So is that just what your default is? Like when you meet somebody who says, "Yeah, you're a good-looking guy," do you just start going on about how great you are?
How great I am.
You do.
And then I tell them, "Yeah, I have a movie coming out tomorrow, November 26th,
Yeah.
called Christmas Bounty at 7 p.m. ABC Family. You can watch it if you want."
Why do you do that?
Well, I don't know.
You'd think that you would be
I
just
think
be
it's
cool.
a nervous tick. I
Yeah.
think it's a nervous tick. You think I'd just like play it off cool, but
Because
I don't know.
at this point,
because you think I've gotten it enough,
Yeah.
to where women just throw themselves at me that I've gotten it enough to where
one can only assume.
of course,
That's just you being charming again, though. No, I would think that you've gotten to the point where like you've kind of achieved the things that you set out to do. Like I feel like guys talk like that when they're kind of on their way up to do. Well, no, I'm going to be a wrestler, and yeah, I'm doing this reality thing right now, but I'm going to be the champion. No, I'm going to be in movies.
I feel like I'm always trying to prove myself, no matter what I've done with what I've been through.
Yeah.
In WWE, whether it's WWE Championship or main eventing WrestleMania or doing movies, I still want to prove to everyone that I could do more and I could do better and I'm the best and I'm number one.
But isn't there something to having the confidence of being like, no, at this point they know I'm the best. My work has spoken for itself. You don't have that.
No, I mean, I do have the confidence, I do believe, but I just think bragging's more fun.
You just have to keep
I just have to reiterate it, and my mouth just keeps moving. And then it's funny whenever people say, try to talk about the other person, I'll always end up talking about myself about that other person.
And your interactions
How
with them. How
conceited am I, honestly? Come on.
Very. Are the groupies for wrestling, I would assume the groupies for reality TV are probably better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all different, I guess you could say, because I think the WWE fans are more passionate. For instance, I landed in Boston Airport yesterday morning at 5 in the morning, and there was like 10 people there to sign autographs, sign their chairs, sign their programs, pictures of me, pictures of Maryse. Like who's my fiance?
Right.
For anyone that doesn't know,
has anybody caught you? Because I would assume there's some 5 o'clock in the morning moments where you don't want to deal with a whole bunch of.
I'm not that guy, though. I'm more of the person that I just remember back in the day when my dad would take me to Cleveland Municipal Stadium to see the Indians play. And we would wait outside for the players to come through, and players would just walk by. And there was always one or two that would sign autographs. It would make my day as a kid. And so I always remember that kid. And whether it's an adult asking for my autograph or a kid, whether I'm eating or doing something that I don't want to do, it's like they want my autograph. It's kind of a privilege and an honor.
You're still in that mode.
Yeah,
you're not jaded.
I don't think I could ever. I don't think I could ever get to a mode where I don't appreciate the person. I mean, granted, you're going to catch me sometimes in a bad mood, or I just got off, doing something. But most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, I'm always very courteous to our audience because they're the people that pay my bills.
And do you think the reason that you're not as jaded as some other people is because you have kind of been every step of the way? A lot of people have been telling you that you can't do it or that you're shitty or that whatever. Like you're met with criticism a lot. So I feel like maybe the sort of the mentality of constantly trying to prove yourself also stops you from just being like, yeah, whatever, man. This is what I do.
I'm always in a constant state of making myself better and doing better and just appreciating where I'm at. I'm always one of those people that whenever I'm in that ring and I look around and I see that audience either cheering me or booing me, it's one of those situations where I try to take a step back and go, look at where you are.
Right.
This is incredible. Not everyone gets to have this opportunity, and you are lucky enough to be the person that's doing this. So do the best you can and try to motivate these people to either boo you or cheer you, either way.
Are you self-critical?
I'm very self-critical. I saw the screening of the movie, and I watched it with Maryse and Maryse's mother. And in the movie, I'm actually kissing another girl.
Right.
So
is this the girl? I think the girl who's in the movie is the one who was on
The Secret Life of an American Teenager.
Secret Life of an American Teenager.
It's amazing that you know that.
Well, because my wife used to watch the show all the time, and I just sit there and have to watch it with her.
Of course, yeah. You know
Chick
you liked
wants
it.
to watch it.
Yeah.
She's super hot though.
Yeah,
The
she's
chick
very,
that's in
very
this
pretty.
movie with you.
Very pretty girl and very charismatic. Always came to work with everything prepared, everything ready, and taught me a lot. And she's really good.
But so you had to watch it with your fiance and your fiance's mom.
Yes, and with Francia there as well.
And you've never done a storyline where you've had to make out with women on TV.
This is the first time she kind of popped my cherry for this. So
yeah, I'll bet she did.
Oh yeah, well, so yeah, watching me make out with another girl with my fiance and her mother there, I was like, oh man, this is kind of nerve-wracking because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to happen. I know Maryse is a very cool chick and that kind of stuff, but the best part is at the second part, I basically told her I had a kissing scene. She was like, oh, okay, no problem. And then when it was done, she was like, that's it. I'm like, what did you want? 50 Shades of Grey? I mean, Jesus. And you're like, no, it was good. I mean, come on, you know? I mean, it's like, that's it? And I'm like, yes, that's...
She didn't even... That's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you'd rather her be pissed than not care.
Like, yeah, I was thinking, man, you know, she's gonna be angry, like, you know...
Wait till she sees the passion that I have.
Like, that's how great of an actor I am.
Yeah. Now, I guess that's the first time that you've seen yourself... Have you ever made any home movies?
No.
That must be the first time that you've seen yourself kiss, or is it not?
First time I seen myself... Yeah, on camera.
Is that weird? Because I've never
looked at myself in the mirror making out with a chick. I'm sorry. Maybe you've done that.
Look,
maybe you've done that. I don't have time.
I haven't. However, I have thought many times about how horrific I must look doing anything sexually. Like, it's not something that I want to see. I angle all mirrors in the bedroom.
Well, I work out, so I mean, you know. It wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be that bad. I mean, I wouldn't mind, you know, looking in a mirror, checking out my butt at the, you know, at the right moment.
Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, just flexing for the mirror,
just flexing, like, just showing it off,
not even paying attention to the girls you're
taking
with.
pictures of myself. Bam.
It's all about the Miz.
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw yourself like making out?
I was like, I'm pretty good.
Jesus Christ!
And I imagine she thought the same thing.
Where does it come in?
I think now that Francia has kissed me, she will basically wish that she could have a guy as smooth and as good of a kisser as me. The sad part is she will never have a better kisser than the one she had in a movie.
How can you be aware that this is why people don't like you?
I know, right?
You just keep doing it. What do you don't like?
I can't help it.
What don't you like about yourself? What's something you do that you're bad at that you wish you could be better at?
There's everything. I mean, I wish I was better at WWE. I wish I was better at.
So you will watch a match and be like,
oh my God,
that was the shits.
Every I think I've never seen you know, a match that I didn't say, I need to do this better. I need to do this better. This could be better. I mean, and even in movies, I nitpick everything because I think you look at yourself and you just see everything, things that people normally don't see. Like I ask my dad every Monday, I'll call my dad and go, "What'd you think?" And he'll say stuff completely different than what I thought people noticed. And my dad's more like, yeah, why didn't you do any stuff off the top rope? I'm like, well, Dad, you know what? Your genetics didn't allow me to have that high flying ability.
Fault,
okay,
Dad.
that is your fault.
Yeah,
not my fault. You should be better.
But
thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. You know,
but you won't be. But you're not public about that stuff. Like you'll sit there nitpicking in your own head, but none of that comes out. You're just like when you're talking out loud to people.
Oh, I'm the greatest thing in the world.
Only the good stuff.
Because perception. It's all about perception and what people see you as. So if you tell them you're the best, how do they know you're not?
Eventually they'll believe you.
Eventually, yeah. Eventually,
if you could stick around long enough.
If I tell you Christmas Bounty is the best movie you'll ever see in your entire life, guess what? If you don't watch it, you don't know.
Right. And
so
I can only assume.
I guess you're going to have to watch it and then either say yes or no on social media.
That's some weird Jedi shit.
I know.
And it obviously works because you were talking about your fiance Maryse a minute ago. It's the Miz in here. And you're talking about Maryse, who used to be a female wrestler for WWE.
Sure.
And she is among the absolute hottest women that have ever been in that company. No doubt about it. You would agree with that.
I would say in the world.
In the world. She's ridiculous.
I'm a very, very lucky person.
Like what she does, I'm sure she does other things, but as far as being in public, she goes state to state and goes to these autograph conventions, and you should see the way that these fans just get so
How
lathered
do you know?
up. Which
Wait,
I go to
how do you know?
I'm everywhere, Miz. You
Look
know
at
that
you.
by now.
You're one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm
That's basically what you're saying.
Maryse, how much for a photo? How much for a photo? Will you
I'll
sign
get you
it
one.
after?
I'll get you one for free. Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad we have that connection. But you started dating her when she was working in the company?
Yeah, she actually tried out for the Diva Search, and I was the host / one of the people that got to help pick with the divas which ones were. And she didn't even speak English at the time.
Right.
She spoke French because she's from Montreal.
And that accent only makes it better.
Oh, it was great. I was like, so what's your name? Huh? And it's like, what is your name? What is your name?
Right.
Maryse. Okay. Tell us a little about yourself. Huh? Okay, you're beautiful. You go to the next round.
Yeah, you're
and then
past. You're
finally,
through.
I was like, listen, can you cut a promo in French? She's like, promo? Sure. She cut this amazing promo in French. I was like, she's in.
Yeah.
So after a year later, we ended up dating.
And it's crazy, too, because last time I saw you two were together, and I was talking to both of you, and she's all on this Miz bandwagon. You have her convinced that you're awesome, too.
What do you mean convinced?
Like,
when
you
I need
have
to
her
convince people
that you are the greatest thing.
Well, I think she thinks that.
I
mean,
believe she does,
I would
too.
hope my fiance thinks I'm great. Doesn't your wife think you're great, or is she on the, like,
true.
I hate him bandwagon? I wish you would stay at the radio show all day long so I could just be by myself and not hear you.
I think that's what we have in common. There's a lot of people that hate both of us, but we both have women that are way more attractive than us that, for whatever reason, think we're fantastic.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of jealousy in the locker room when you started claiming Maryse as your own?
Nobody knew. I actually didn't tell anyone for the first 3 years that we were dating because we didn't want that kind of awkward kind of weirdness that you get in when you're in the workplace and you have a relationship. It tends to get messy, so we were just going to hide it from everybody, and we did it for about 3 years.
I would assume a lot of the wrestlers would hit on her, though.
Yeah, I always think that as a compliment. Like when a lot of people get jealous, I'm more of a person that if a person isn't hitting on my fiance, then I'm like, I mean, they should.
Right.
They should hit on my fiance because she's beautiful. She has a great personality. She's a wonderful person. Why wouldn't someone want to hit on her? But that's more my mentality.
And there's nobody there that you're threatened by that could be like, oh, let me keep this dude away from her.
No, because if I do that, then I'll always wonder if I was really the one. You know, and if she thinks that there's someone better than me, go for it. Because guess what? If, then you're always going to wonder. And I'd rather her not wonder. I'd rather her know.
Miz,
and I feel like she knows.
You got to let the bird fly. And if it comes back to you, then it was meant to be. Is that right?
Thank you.
Is that what you're telling me?
Very philosophical of you.
You're a romantic guy.
I am a romantic. Hopeless romantic.
You're back to being a bad guy in wrestling.
That's what people say. I don't think so.
Well, you turned on your tag team partner the other week.
Okay.
That's one of the most dastardly things I could think of.
I know, so dastardly, right? I dropped off the apron when a guy goes to tag me in. That is so horrible.
He was counting on you.
Let's put it this way. Kofi Kingston wants a spotlight. The Miz wants a spotlight.
Right.
We are not in the main event right now.
No.
And we get it. But the fact is, we need to start making noise. Need to start doing things that people aren't used to seeing. And so they talk about it. And what happened? I created people talking on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, YouTube, you name it. People were talking about, oh, Miz is turning heel. Miz is a bad guy.
Right.
But
That's
then
how they sound too.
Exactly. But then we went to Survivor Series last night. We had a great match, shaked hands, and then at the end of the match, I win.
Shook hands.
Thank you.
Yep.
Shook hands.
Yep.
Thank you for that, for your English major there. And then at the end of the match, I won. I go to shake his hand again. I could say shake that time.
That time shake.
And yes, shake. I go to shake his hand, and he slaps me in the face.
Yeah, but he's mad at you. See, the thing is...
Why is he mad at me?
You got people talking, but it was at the expense of your tag team partner. This is an evil thing to do. Imagine if E-Rock's in there and he's at the board, and I do. I go out of my way to make him look bad to help myself shine. Now I'm shining, but every's like, what a dick Sam is.
Yeah. I understand, but
if you're a dick in wrestling, that makes you a bad guy.
Then he smacks you. Does that make him a bad guy?
No.
Does that make you a bad guy if you go to shake his hand? How about this? Kofi would have never had a match at Survivor Series if it wasn't for me.
Right.
So thank you. He should be thanking me for his paycheck that he's going to. As a matter of fact, he should give me his paycheck that he's going to get from Survivor Series because I'm the reason that he has a match. So you're welcome.
That's a bad guy thing to say.
Is that a bad? How is that bad?
You're asking for his money.
By the way, this entire interview, you've called me a bad guy.
You are a bad guy.
From the beginning all the way from the middle to the end. You have basically been telling me I'm cocky, I'm arrogant, and you've been agreeing with me, and I agree with it.
I said you're very good looking, too.
Thank you. Well, at least there's something good about this. this.
Exactly. Now, you're more comfortable being a bad guy, I would assume?
You know, I never consider myself a bad guy.
It fits your personality a little better.
Is that another thing? You're just zinging me all over the place, aren't you? It fits me so much more. Like, we look at you and we think, oh, he's so good.
Angelic.
He's such a good guy.
But do you feel like that's more just being you and it's easier?
Being me is a lot easier, and just I can put on the Miz very, very easily, and it's just a
I've been
natural.
noticing you floating in and out of it in here.
Well, yeah, I
like it.
I float in and out a lot, but yeah, it's one of those situations where when I was quote unquote a good guy,
yes,
it was kind of a situation where I was the good guy that kept on getting beat down and never had any retaliation.
Right.
As a bad guy, when you're getting beat down, my retaliation is all I have to do is talk. And I can get everyone to believe in all my nonsense.
Right, I guess because when you're a good guy, you get beat down, and you still can't say anything that's that nasty.
Yeah, you can if you have edge as a like if you look at like the greats of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You look at The Rock. You know, when they would be heel, when they would be babyface, it was just a slight tweak. They were still the same person at the core, but you just tweak it a little bit. And they did great at it. So I think it takes some time to get people used to whether they're cheering you or booing you.
Let me ask you. We were talking about you being on pay-per-view with The Rock a couple years ago, which was obviously the biggest moment of your career, I would think.
Or WrestleMania, I would say.
That's what I meant when he rock-bottomed you at WrestleMania.
Sure.
Right.
I'm glad that you make
We're
that.
On the same
that's
page.
The most memorable moment, even though I can't remember it because I was concussed.
He was your hero, though, at one point, right?
Yeah, he was the reason I wanted to be a WWE superstar. So going against him at...
Did he really give you a concussion?
No,
or was that earlier?
He didn't. That was earlier. I got tackled off of a stage onto the concrete, and my head hit the concrete. And, yeah, and then I still went on to win that match.
Do you know immediately when you're concussed?
I don't remember any of it. Like, I had to watch it back, and I look at myself and go, oh, my God, I can't believe I got through that entire match.
So how much memory did you lose?
I don't remember that entire match. Like, my most memorable
the rest
moment,
of the night, or
what's supposed to happen as your most memorable moment, I should remember. I don't remember it. Like, main eventing WrestleMania and holding that WWE Championship up, winning in the main event as a bad guy, quote unquote bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen.
Never.
That's not supposed to happen, especially to a reality star.
Yeah.
I was on the real world. That's not supposed to happen to me. And
especially
I don't
when
remember
you're against the biggest good guy in the company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't remember it because I was concussed. And do I remember anything afterwards? No. And here's the best part that I think to tell you a little bit about my dad. So my parents come backstage, and now I don't remember this, or I don't remember anything. They're basically fill me in the next day of what happened. So my parents come backstage. My mom is backstage with me, I guess, in the trainer's room, and my mom said my dad left. And she thought that he just couldn't see me, you know, asking questions like that. But my dad comes up to me the next day and goes, look at all these pictures I got. I got a picture with The Rock. I got a picture with John Cena. Like, I won't let my dad backstage because he asks everyone for pictures. And I'm like, Dad, please don't annoy people while they're trying to do it. So he found it as an opportunity when I was concussed, when I was hurt, when I was injured, to find an opportunity to get the pictures then because he's backstage. Who cares about his kid, his little boy who he grew up, you know, feeding and nurturing and doing all the fatherly stuff.
Mike's not going to remember anyway.
He didn't remember anyway. You were asking this. He's like, you were asking the same question over and over again. It was a little annoying, to be completely honest with you. I thought he just couldn't stand the sight of his baby boy doing that. No,
you bored him.
I bored him. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Is that scary when you realize that you wake up the next morning and you're like, how did WrestleMania end that I was in?
It's completely scary, and you know, I guess. We have a bunch of doctors that come in now that we have impact tests. We have a bunch of things that WWE does for us for concussions because they are such a huge thing that's happening right now, not just in WWE but in NFL as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're very, very careful with them. And so whenever you have a concussion, I guess one of the symptoms is depression. And I became immediately, like, really depressed. Like, I didn't do well. I hated everything. I hate everything about me.
For how long?
My fiance, it was like the whole week. It was just nonstop. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Why am I feeling this way?
Especially coming off that WrestleMania high.
Yeah, you're coming off a high.
Think.
You would think I would be like in the greatest of moods, but I thought like the match was horrible. I was horrible. You know, I'm horrible. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I'm talking as the WWE champion.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the guy. And the next night I'm talking on a microphone with Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know, one of my idols growing up, and we literally go in a back and forth, and I get to stand tall with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's pretty incredible. But after that I was depressed. The whole week I was just depressed. It took about a week and a half to get fully back to normal, if you will. Being in the ring, like the doctors were all very helpful. So it takes a toll.
Does it shake you up as a performer when that happens? Like, do you like, oh, I don't want to take any more bumps. I'm not going out of the concrete again.
That was kind of my first major injury. I've been very, very fortunate in the WWE that I haven't broken or torn anything, knock on wood. But that was my first like taste of like, wow, like that's serious. Like when you don't remember anything, it's kind of.
Do you remember hitting the concrete? Like, do you remember? So you don't even know what it was like to just hear the concrete on the back of your head.
I got to feel what it was like the next day when I watched it in slow motion. That was definitely a sight to see.
And was that and really the concussion thing has only become something that people are aware of within the last few years. I mean, you're lucky that something like that didn't happen 10 years ago when it was like, okay, you know, you got a concussion, you shake it off, and you're back in,
throw
you know,
some
24
dirt on
hours.
it and get back in there, kid.
Walk it off, shake it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. Look at you. You look fine.
It's a bruise.
Yeah, it's a bruise.
Relax. Man, so that's when you're the main event. And then after that, you kind of drift out of the main event. And like you said, you're now with Kofi Kingston. Neither of you guys are the main event. When you're out of the world title scene, does that shake your confidence as a performer? Like, are you like, oh, maybe that was a fluke? Am I not good enough to do this?
In WWE, you go ups and downs. Yeah. Every superstar goes through it. And whether you're the top guy or the bottom guy, every superstar goes up and they go down. And it's your job to be captivating enough to get back to that top spot. And that's what I've been working for since then. And not only that, but it's like I have so many other things that I'm doing for WWE. Whether it's media promotions or it's doing the Marine 3 Homefront, a movie from WWE Studios, or the Christmas Bounty, which comes out tomorrow. You know, or it's main event doing commentary. You know, WWE gives me plenty of platforms, hosting Miz TV on a show. You know, it's pretty incredible the things that I've gotten to do. And so you look at everything and you go, how can I make this better? And that's just the kind of the way that I'm going right now. It's like, how can I make this better? How can I get back to that main event, those main event storylines? And it's just getting better and doing the best you can with what you're given.
So it seems like you're the type of guy who just wants to do everything. Like, okay, well, I don't have a great match this week. Let me do a Miz TV segment. Let me commentate on that. Is the reason that you're given that many opportunities to do it, is it just because they believe in you, or are there not that many guys like you that want to do everything?
I think a little bit of both. I think they believe in that I can do whatever they need me to do. Like one time I remember Stephanie calling me the utility player, and I was like, is that a bad thing? Because usually utility players last the longest, in my opinion.
Right.
And so if you call me a utility player, I am a person that can do a main event WWE match. I can go on commentary and do that. I can host a TV show. I can go on any kind of media network and be fine. I don't think everyone can do that, and I'm not. This isn't me boasting and bragging, but it's kind of the truth.
Yeah.
It's like not everyone in the WWE can do what I do. So I think they do believe in me, and I'm fortunate for that.
Do you like when storylines start blending into reality? Like a few weeks ago, you were just talking about Stephanie and Triple H, and these are the people that are legitimately in charge of the company, along with Vince McMahon. Behind the scenes, storylines aside, these are the actual bosses, and you know they bring you into the ring. And they're kind of talking about how shitty you are. And they're bringing up stuff that is legitimate things. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily strictly storyline. Do you sit there going like, Jesus, guys, relax a little with that stuff? Or do you like that it starts to bleed?
I like it. I love drama. I love reality. I come from the real world. I mean, come on. So, I mean, I enjoy when people, I will sometimes go, listen, talk about whatever you want to talk about. With me, I'm the WWE superstar that if someone wants to come at me, if I have a microphone, I'm going to come right back at you. So come at me. Come with your best stuff, because guess what? It's only going to make us better and make the audience more captivated.
Who, when you're going shot for shot in the ring with, because sometimes most of it's, I'm assuming, scripted, but a lot of times when you're in the ring and you're on a microphone, you're in front of a live audience, you can easily go off script and just start going back and forth. Who is somebody that you don't necessarily want to do that with? Like, who's good at it?
Who's really good at it?
Yeah.
CM Punk's very, very good. Paul Heyman is at his top of the game. John Cena's really good. The guys you would think are really good are really good.
So when you see on paper, you're like, okay, Miz and CM Punk have this thing in the ring together where they're going. You know,
I know
they're talking. Are you going, oh, fuck?
No, I'm going, this is going to be awesome.
Okay.
This is going to be amazing because he's going to make me better. And I'm hopefully going to make him better because of the things that we say. Like, I have an improv background. Like, I used to do improv Olympics, so I know how to handle myself in a ring and with whatever you give me. Whatever you give me, I'm going to shoot right back. I'm
going to try a phone call. Let's see what happens.
Let's do it.
John in Georgia. You're on with the Miz.
Hi, Miz.
Up,
I just want to say I was live at Wrestlemania 27, and your promo for that was probably one of the best since Rock versus Austin with Limp Bizkit. I just wanted to say, and as far as you being WWE champion, do you ever see yourself? Do you see the company ever giving you that gold ring again?
Absolutely.
It's a belt, by the way. They do a belt, not a ring.
You could buy a belt at Target. But yeah, to answer your question, of course, if I wouldn't be in the WWE if I don't think I could be a world heavyweight champion or a WWE champion again. You know, it just takes that one moment sometimes. Sometimes it takes one moment. Sometimes it takes a year of building to that moment. But like you said, with that promo that they did, that vignette they did for WrestleMania 27, it was pretty incredible. It told my entire life story and how hard I worked and how hard I fought to get to that spot. And now it just means that when you get that spot, you have to fight even harder to keep that spot. And when you start going down and down and down, you have to work your way back up, and it just takes time. And sometimes it just takes one moment. I mean, you look at Big Show right now. Big Show is the top storyline right now. He's had his ups and downs in the WWE, and that's just what happens. It happens to most, like 99% of the superstars it happens to.
When you see new guys coming in and kind of being pushed straight to the top past you, and you're like, this guy just got here. There's no like, oh boy, my luster's starting to wear off. The new kid's in town. And
no, I don't think so. I think if there's a person that's going to help this product, help WWE get more ratings, then guess what? Good, because if there's more ratings, there's more people get to watch me.
Right, and hopefully you'll be able to.
There I go, bringing it right back to me again.
And you want the people to see the Miz.
Exactly, because I feel like if they're going to bring this guy up and they're going to watch him, they're going to stay to watch me.
You told me last time we were talking, a few times ago, but we've talked many, many times.
Yes.
You were talking about how tough it was for you when you first got there. In terms of, you had some locker room hazing going on. You were kicked out of the locker room. I heard a story, I think I was listening to Colt Cabana's podcast, where you had to...
You listen to everything, man.
I'm all over the place.
You're all over.
Where you had to pee. You were kicked out of the locker room.
Yes.
Because you ate chicken over someone's bag.
Yes.
You had to go to the bathroom. The wrestlers would not let you in the locker room. You had to go to the arena bathroom where the audience pisses and piss real quick before your match.
Yes.
Now, I have
any idea what it's like when you're using the urinal and a kid goes, "Hey, I think that's the Miz," to his friend, and it's like, I'm basically using the restroom and I don't know how to react. I'm like, "Hey, kids, how are you?"
Yeah, and you're like, "No, I'm not the Miz. I just have you wearing ridiculous glitter shorts."
Yes, that's exactly what I was wearing.
Don't worry about that. But what I was wondering was, with the Richie Incognito thing happening right now and all this talk about locker room hazing and NFL bullying, what do you think of it? Are you sitting there going, dude, I dealt with that and everything's fine now? Or...
I think everyone's different and everyone reacts to bullying different. I was a person that I said, you know what, I'm going to prove these people wrong. This is the motivation that I'm going to use to get myself to the top. But I do believe that sometimes, bullying is too much. That's why WWE has an anti-bullying campaign called Be a Star, where we go to schools, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school, all over the world. I've been to Australia. I've been to Germany. I've been to Abu Dhabi, speaking to schools all over the land, just promoting anti-bullying campaigns, because it's a kid shouldn't be scared to go to school.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, well, it makes him better. It makes him that. Some kids it doesn't, and I'd rather risk the fact that those kids that are having a hard time, I'd rather them be able to know how to deal with a bully.
And to all of us that got bullied in high school and survived, we didn't have to get bullied over Facebook and Twitter and have it follow us home. Like, the bullying
brutal,
is
man.
brutal now for kids. Like,
it's brutal for me. It's a WWE superstar. Do you have any idea what it's like being a WWE superstar with Twitter fans, with faceless people going, "You suck"? Like, you don't know what I go through. How do you know if I suck? Just because you have an opinion, keep it to yourself.
You go home and you're like, "Oh, I think that was great," and you pull up your Twitter. I'll bet the fans are all talking. You suck, Miz.
No, and you know what the funny part is? There's 100, Miz, you're the best. You're so great. Oh, my God, that was such an amazing match. And then it's like, the only reason that was a good match is because Kofi was in it. It's like, you know, that's the one guy that ruins my entire day. Thank you for that. You really needed to do that. Does that make you feel better about yourself, honestly? No, it probably doesn't.
No wonder you turned on Kofi.
I know.
Yeah, I just wonder with the bullying thing when it gets to, I think by the time you're an adult and you're a pro athlete and you're in a locker room, that's a little more where it's a little easier to survive in that arena than it is, you know, dealing with the kids who get bullied in school. Because the kids who get bullied in school, it's horrible.
Sure, and I'm a grown adult. Like, I kind of know how to handle myself now. But the locker room is completely different than it used to be. Now everyone is striving to make the best product possible for our WWE universe.
Right, so it's good. Let's go to one more question. Paul in Pennsylvania.
Sam Roberts, how's it going?
Good, but why don't you ask The Miz?
Miz, how's it going this morning?
I am awesome. I get to sit here and hang out with Sam.
See?
I'm a wrestler in training at the Backbreakers Training Center. I just wanted to know, what's the biggest obstacle when starting? I'm just a couple months in.
Biggest obstacle is sticking with it. The best advice I ever got was from Billy Kidman. I saw him at a Playboy party at the Playboy Mansion because Tori Wilson was having her cover shoot, and it was before I was in the WWE and I was just on the Real World, and I can get into Playboy parties. So I was like, oh man, Tori Wilson's going to be there. Maybe I can meet some of the wrestlers and hopefully they can give me some advice. Saw Billy Kidman, and his advice still sticks with me to this day. Stick with it, because too many times I've seen so many people come in and start training and just it got too hard. There was so many sacrifices that they had to make, whether it was your job, whether it was traveling, whether it was your wife or your companion. There's so many obstacles that will basically take you away from wrestling. But if you truly believe that you can do it, sticking with it is my best advice for you.
I've been doing DDP yoga for a week now, so I know something about sticking with it.
There you go.
Yes. Miz.
You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
It's been really working for you.
It's transforming. And Raw is on tonight, and it's live at the Nassau Coliseum. I will be there, Miz. I will see you there.
Excellent. You'll be cheering me or booing me?
I always cheer you.
There you go. That's
because
what I'm
everybody
about.
else is booing you, so I got to be contrarian.
Thanks for your support.
I got to be contrarian. Thank you, Miz.
Thanks, bud.
Goodbye.